When I was 19, I met this guy. We both worked at the same uniform store. He was a really cool dude who happened to be white. His name was Frank. And Frank and I, we became fast friends. We hung out at the store together, we ate lunch together, and we talked on the phone all the time. But it wasn't until he became my first phone call in the morning and my last phone call at night that I began to realize that I was falling hard for this guy. At the time, though, Frank was trying to figure out his next phase in life. He was a college senior and had just gotten an offer with the Associated Press. And for a journalism major, that is a huge opportunity. But they planned on sending him to some little remote town like Podunk, Idaho. So I was kind of devastated at the thought of him leaving and moving far away, just when we started to connect. But luckily for me, he decided that he was gonna stay. He said it was to be close to family, but it didn't matter because this now gave us an opportunity to see where this relationship could go. But it was a little nerve-wracking, because I had never been in a relationship. So he would have been my first real boyfriend. And we were both on this emotional roller coaster because we had just recently, each of us, lost a parent. And also, I'm Haitian and he is Irish. And not everybody thought that griot and potatoes would go together. But we said, fuck it. And we were gonna give it a shot. So our first official date was to a Common concert. Frank was a huge hip hop fan. I used to find it hilarious that this white boy put me on. And we loved us some Common. So as we sat in the last row of that theater and Common started to perform The Light, Frank put his arm around me and he held me tight. And in that moment, I knew that we were in it for the long run. And that song, I decided, was now our song. Frank was an amazing boyfriend. He took me to see Rent 3 times, and he hated Broadway. He got me this locket that was long enough to kind of hang between my boobs. He said it was to keep my mother close to my heart, but I knew the deal. He would write me love letters every week. And he even got me the moon this one time, albeit a arts and crafts version, but it was really sweet. He was thoughtful, compassionate, and we enjoyed getting to know each other. We enjoyed spending time with each other. 2 years after that first official date, we ended up at, surprise, surprise, yet another Common concert. But this time we invited some family and some friends, so it was this really cool outing that I was excited about. It was at SOB's, which is an iconic venue in New York City. But SOB's is also really intimate and very small. So small that the celebs were always forced to kind of hang out with Gen Pop. So the concert begins, and maybe about 4 or 5 songs in, Common starts with, I never knew a love like this. And I back up a little bit, I get closer to Frank, and I start swaying to the music, because I'm feeling the vibe. When all of a sudden, he taps me on my shoulder. And I think, are you fucking kidding me? The man is on stage singing our song, and you have the audacity to interrupt? So I slowly begin to turn around because I am pissed off right now. But when I do, I am rendered speechless as I stare into the most beautiful diamond ring that I have ever seen in my life. And that night, the creme de la creme of neo soul and hip hop was in the room. So Erykah Badu grabs my hand to check out the bling. Music Soul Child gives Frank £1. Bilal is like, congratulations, bro. And as we embraced, Questlove runs up and snaps a picture. And the whole crowd went crazy. I later found out that a couple of weeks before the concert, Frank had posted on okplayer.com that he was gonna propose to his girlfriend, so everybody in that audience knew what was going down. Everybody but me. But it was a beautiful surprise. It was so magical. And I'm sure you can assume that over the years I've thought about that night, but I've also thought that Common didn't know who the hell we were. But recently, I was scrolling through YouTube and I came across an interview where he was asked, what is the wildest thing that has ever happened at one of your concerts? And he said, well, a few years back, I can't do his accent that well, but a few years back, I was performing in New York City and I look into the audience and there was this weeping woman. I later found out that she was crying because she had just been proposed to by her boyfriend. And that interview just touched my heart. Everything but the fact that, I really wasn't weeping. Common, didn't go down like that. But I was just touched at the fact that, he remembered us. Because all this time, I just assumed that he was a part of our story, and come to find out, we too were a part of his. 20 plus years later, Frank and I are still going strong. And Common has 3 beautiful honorary goddaughters that he hasn't met yet. So if anybody in the audience has a direct line, hit me up so that I can let him know that they do exist. Thank you.